Hi there, Photoshop users. Welcome to my site and welcome to this video tutorial. Just so you know, this is going to be the last time I'm doing this one. I've done this about 50 or more times and I keep making mistakes. So I'm just going to blast through this thing and all the mistakes be damned. It's going to go the way it is. Okay, so it's called Taming the Pen Tool. It should be actually taming my ability to make a video. Taming the Pen Tool. If you've ever used a pen tool, you know how confusing this beast is. The first time I used it, when I was a new Photoshopper, I thought, okay, I've got a pen tool and I've got a brush tool, and I understand what both of them do. So how hard can it be? And I soon discovered how hard it could be. So I took the pen, and I've been using a pen all my life, in high school and elementary school and university and college, and I made a mark. That had nothing to do whatsoever with anything that a pen does. And I made another one, and I got this line, and I thought, what the heck is that? And I kept trying to make it do something different, and it wouldn't. And it's making all these funny curves. I think they're called Bezier curves. And I couldn't get it to stop and do anything logical. I couldn't even draw a happy face with the darn thing. And that's about all I can draw. And you know, I thought, man, I'm going to draw a happy face. Okay, so I've stopped fooling around. I told you I'm just going to do this no matter what happens. There. Keep the history palette open when you work with the pen tool, because you can go back in time and get rid of all the crap you do. Now, it only works with Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CS2. And, well, it doesn't only work with Photoshop. It works with PaintShop Pro as well, but not the same. And I'm using my Wacom Intuos 5. Now, you can do this with a mouse, you can do it with a trackpad, and you can do it with pretty much any version of Photoshop because it has the pen tool. Okay, so the way you use the pen tool is, first, let's look at the tools itself. We've got the pen, freeform, add, delete anchors, and convert. Now, this is obviously a freeform, which means you can draw anything you want. Add anchor, we'll add an anchor point. I'll show you that. Delete, deletes it. Convert, I have no idea what it does. It does something. It does something like straighten out a curve. I don't know why it does it. I read the help file a whole bunch of times, and it didn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm sure somebody will point out to me the error of my ways and correct me in my thinking about that part of it. Up here are the options. This is the paths, or this is the, the shape layers. This is paths, that's P-A-T-H-S. This is the pen tool, this is the freeform. So this is how you set it up. Get paths, pen tool, everything else just like this. Check, auto, add, delete, and away we go. So you make a mark. It's a little square thing. Now you make another one, and you go a straight line. Now with my pen, I keep the pen on the tablet, or you keep your left mouse button depressed. Now you drag it. And as you drag it, you get a curve. And the curve will change its shape depending on how you drag the handle that you've got here. So I'm dragging it out that way, I'm dragging it this way, I'm going up here, and I'm going down here. So I've got this craziness going on here. And if I want, I can lift off my pen, and that's fine. I got a neat little curve. Now I always hit the Alt key and tap on this second anchor point, because it gets rid of this big handle here. And I'm happy getting rid of that big handle. Okay, now so I can make a second one. And now I got a real kind of nice looking little sine wave, if you understand what sine waves are. And oh, that's kind of nice. So I'm going to hit the Alt key and get rid of that one. Okay, so let's come on over to the little toolbox here. Open it up and drag out the Add Anchor Point tool. Now I can click on here. Now the way you use this is you click on the line, lift your pen, or let go of the left mouse button. And you can see it changes to this little open and white-ended triangle thing pointer. Incidentally, it's right here. It's the direct selection tool. Okay? So it's no different. But if you have the add anchor point, it turns into that. Okay, now you've lifted up. Now you can go over it, and you can grab the anchor point, and you can move it around. And you can move these guys around. Press the control button, and you can move these. And you've got all kinds of control over this whole thing. And here's another one. We can change that. We can come on out here And we can change that. That's with the control button held down. And that does all kinds of cool things with the shape. So you can see you can make this conform to pretty much anything you want it to conform to. Now, if you're artistic, you can probably see possibilities for this. If you're an artistic peasant like me, you think, oh, well, that's kind of cool, but what good is it? So I'm going to show you what good it is. Okay, so let's go to the next step. The next step is to right-click on the canvas, and you get this little dialog. Delete path, define custom shape, make selection, fill path, stroke path. So I am going to stroke path, and I get this little stroke path dialog up. Now the first few times I used it, probably 30 or 40, I just looked at it and said, okay, simulate pressure and brush, okay, cool. I didn't bother checking to see what was here. So if you check to see what's here, wow, everything, pretty much everything that you can do to affect a picture, an image, or anything is here, there, that you can do on this path, which is really quite neat. And just let that filter into your brain, and wow, there's a lot of stuff you can do. I hit OK, and you get this. The interesting thing about this shape and the stroke is that it has to do with the way the brush is set up. So if I check the brush tool and I get the brushes palette, which is hiding down here, and open it up, I go to shape dynamics. I've got it set for pen pressure, so it's going to give me a skinny to fat to skinny, exactly what it did, skinny to fat to skinny. And if I go to the brush tip shape, you can see this was normally a normal round brush. This is what it started off with, a soft edged round brush. So I made it hard edged, and I move this in, and I change this angle, and you can change this angle here. I turned the spacing down to 1%, or I made sure it was there, and my diameter of my pixels is like 12 pixels. So if I change that, I can change the way the stroke looks. So let's go back, get rid of that. We'll make another one. Okay, let's just make another shape. And we'll go back to the brush. And so you can do all this stuff with the shape still up. And change that. Now I'm going to change shape dynamics to something called fade. And it'll probably be 0 on yours. Mine is set to 250. And so we're going to set it to 240. Okay? And let's try something else. Let's try color dynamics. Color dynamics takes the foreground and the background colors and mixes them together, and it's really quite neat. So we've got a foreground background jitter high, hue jitter high, saturation jitter high, brightness jitter high, and purity is fairly high. So now if I do, get the brush tool or the pen tool again. Now when I do stroke the path, delete the path, you can see what it's done. It's given me this really cool line. It started thick and faded out because I have the fade set, and these are all the brush dynamics I have set up. So it's the shape dynamics and the color dynamics. If I don't like color dynamics, I just go back here and I change. I've got the brush tool again. I change it, take this one off, maybe put on texture. And let's try that. Looks like a car tire, doesn't it? Looks like something you'd see on CSI. And it has a big size. So we're going to go back to here, pen tool, and we'll make a line there. We'll make a line there, and we'll make a line here. Okay, so we've got something going on here. And I don't like that, so I'm going to go in here and I'm going to delete an anchor point right there, right there. Now we've got that. Now I'm going to go to add anchor point, click, lift, drag out, and maybe pull this one down. I mean, these shapes don't mean anything. Now right click, stroke the path, okay. It doesn't show it so much because the fade is on, but you can see how you can get all kinds of crazy things happening. And your brush's palette is tied intimately into this whole thing. So it's this, the pen tool, the brush tool, and the brush's palette all working together in conjunction to make these cool shapes. So what you got to do is now you got to go off and try this stuff and play with it, because we're going to use it all at some point later in the next video for digital inking. So I hope you enjoyed this. Hope you had fun with it. I know you'll have fun with it once you get going, because it really is a lot of fun. And since I've learned how to do this, that's all I do. You know, when I don't have something else to do in the evening, I sit and I ink pictures, and it's becoming an addiction. I don't think there is a way to get rid of this addiction yet, but hey, you know, eventually it'll wear it, I guess. So I appreciate your time you've taken to watch this, and have fun with it, because it really is kind of cool. And for you artistic people, I'm sure you'll do fabulous stuff. For the artistic peasants like me, you're going to have fun too. Okay? So thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. We'll see you on the next video. Bye now.